Hi folks, this is Vicki at patternprincess.com. Today I wanted to show you how to work a very nice shawl that would be really good for a beginner or somebody if you've been thinking about working with a number 2, like a fine yarn, one of those thinner yarns. Both of these skeins of yarn for these, and this is just made out of one yarn cake, those round yarn cakes, 874 yards a piece, but they're actually 4 threads of strands of thread together. And so if you've ever been wanting to use that type of yarn, this is really a nice pattern to be able to get you started on that. And these yarn cakes, they go from, this one here goes from light blue to a little bit darker blue, and then to like a midnight blue. So that's this one, and I did the same stitches. This one here goes from the light lavender to a little bit darker purple, and then a black on the end of this one. But it's just very light, very lacy, very pretty. And some of you, if you've been crocheting a little bit, might even recognize what I did here for the stitching. But it's an extremely easy pattern to do, and so I thought it'd be a wonderful one for a beginner. So I want to take a moment though to show you the yarn. If you can see, do you see how there's 4 thin strands of thread? That's what this yarn is made from, and the color changes are just lovely throughout it. But it's easier to crochet with than what you might think. I was afraid to crochet with a thinner yarn for quite some time. Okay, let's get going here. I have my slip knot on my hook, and I'm just using a thicker yarn to make sure that you can see this rather than that thinner yarn. So here we go. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then in this very first chain from the hook right here, I'm going to do 3 double crochets. So I'm going to insert my hook. Here we go, 1, and then we go insert it again, go through 2 loops, 2 loops, that's number 2, insert it, go through 2 loops and 2 loops, and our first row is done. We have 1, 2, 3 double crochet, and then our initial chain stitches, which are over here. And since we worked in the first one, we actually have those 3 chains left over here, so that kind of counts as a double crochet, all right? So we're going to turn our work. So that first row is already done. And so this row here is really pretty much what's going to be repeating all the way through. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That does count as a double crochet. Yarn over, and then back in that same space we're going to do 2 double crochets. So here we go, 1, yarn over, 2, chain 1, and then over here into this top chain space of that initial chain 3, we're going to insert our hook, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. There we go, 1, gotta get that same spot again, 2, 3, whoops, okay, so row 2 is done. All right, so now we're well on our way, and you can see that it's starting to get bigger, right? All right, we're gonna turn it. Now here again, it's the same process. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, and in the same space, you're going to do 2 double crochet. 1, 2, chain 1, yarn over. Now in this chain 1 space, right here, we're going to do 3 double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to chain 1. Then again, over into the last stitch over here, would be that top stitch of that first chain 3. We're going to do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. So see, we have the third row done. And so then the next row, I'm going to do one more row for you. So here's row 1, 2, and 3. I'm also going to have photos on the website using the thinner yarn, so you can see exactly what it would look like using the thinner yarn. Because I think that it'll help you as you're working on the stitches, especially if you're new as well to reading patterns and whatnot. So here we go. We're going to yarn over to our chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go right back in here, do our 2 more double crochet. 1, 2, chain 1, and then we skip over to the next chain space and do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, skip over to the next double crochet, or I should say next chain space, pardon me, and do 3 double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, chain 1. So you can see the pattern already taking place, and when you work with a thin yarn, the results are so pretty. And of course I worked into the top stitch of that initial chain 3 on the side here, and I'm doing my 3 double crochet, and I already have, in just a few minutes here, I have 4 rows done. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see how this continues to get bigger. It's starting to V out, and it's a very pretty pattern, and this really just uses the granny. If you've done a granny square, it's very similar. You know, you have the granny stitch, which is the 3 double crochet, chain 1. So we just continue this pattern all the way throughout, and it's just a beautiful triangle shawl. I hope that you give it a chance yourself. I hope you have a chance yourself to make one, and try out different yarns and different types of colors of yarn. It's very beautiful, and they're very fun. It's one of these that you can watch TV. You don't really have to count the stitches in each row, and just go until you run out of yarn. Not a lot of ends to weave in when you use those yarns that are variegated. So have fun and enjoy, and remember to like, share, and subscribe so you can stay up to date on more patterns. Thank you for watching.